So why have I set up a barrel like this? Usually when you burn a pile of sticks, you pop them in the top with a bunch of holes in a barrel and they burn very efficiently. However, today we want to make burning not efficient. We want to starve this fire of oxygen, and that is going to allow us to make some char, which we can then turn into biochar. Now people are going to be thinking, well, when you make char, it is just biochar. No, not until you inoculate it with a nitrogen source. And I'll be showing you all that in this video. So let's go to make some biochar. Also, if you're wondering what biochar actually is, it's a way to amend your soil and make it much more rich and nutrient dense, because them pieces of biochar, like I said, have been inoculated with nitrogen, and that allows the nitrogen source to stay in the soil. So let's say if you add some manure onto your bed, let's just say it's got a lot of nitrogen in it, the nitrogen may just run off. However, the nitrogen will stay in the soil because it's captured in these tiny little pieces of biochar. Let's go to make some biochar. So the first thing you need for making biochar is a carbon source. I've chosen wood today because it's a very readily available source of carbon where I am. We live with a woodland surrounding us, so it's ideal to use this stuff. But you can use anything. You can use a straw bale if you can get your hands on it. It just won't produce so much because it's not as dense as wood with carbon. You can use newspaper. Again, you won't get much because it's not so dense, and you may have to make it in a different way to this. So yeah, this one's mainly wood. What I'm doing is breaking up all the little sticks and then just popping them in here. We're only going to need to do this to start with, and then we can shove big, huge sticks in here to hopefully suffocate the oxygen source. So I just got this bag. This is an old feed bag for our chicken feed, and I'm going to go ahead and pop this inside as a source of like tinder for lighting. I've just popped that underneath all the sticks that I put in there. Now I'm just going to break up a few more sticks and carry on putting them in. And I'll see you in just a second once I've done that. So those two watering cans that I just placed just down there, they are to extinguish the flames once I turn this barrel upright. Once it's been burnt, I'll show you everything, don't worry. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put the petrol here. I'm going to put my stick in the petrol solution. Let it sit in there for a second. Alright. Then I'm going to take the petrol solution and I'm going to dump it in there. Just like that. And I'm going to stand very far back. There we go. Right, now it's burnt down a little bit. I'm going to stuff a little bit more material in, holding it by the end because it's hot. I'm just going to keep doing this so I can't do it no more. Anyway, I'm just going to carry on stuffing sticks in this, and I'll see you very soon once I've done that. I'm just going to keep piling it until I can't no more. Right, obviously please be careful when making this. It's quite dangerous actually. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can flip this up now. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do it. I'm going to try and do it. Hopefully everything goes well. But yeah, let's go ahead and try it. So I've got to flip this up because it's now full and it's just burning now. I don't want it to burn. I think we'll leave it for a couple more minutes maybe, just to, because it's got a char in the bottom there. So we'll just let it burn out this bit and then we'll flip it up and we'll stuff a load more material in it, get it going again, and hopefully that'll just then cook the stuff in the bottom and we'll have char. I really have not thought about how I'm going to do this. I think this is the only viable way. There we go, look at that, perfectly executed. I was a bit nervous to do that actually, but it's way easier than I thought. So now I'm just going to stuff more stuff in there, just keep starving that oxygen. I'm going to get it in there nice and quick, because now it's just burning that stuff at the bottom, and that's what we don't want. So you see how this is burning now, rather than smouldering. We need to now put it out. So we're just going to pour the water over the top, just like that. And we're just going to pour water over it until it goes, until the water goes over the biochar level. I'm just gonna pour it on in. Now there'll be the odd bit that hasn't fully burnt, but we're gonna sort that out. There'll just be the food top bits that I put in, just to make sure it's extra done. Right, I'm just gonna go get some more water. You need to make sure this is full, because if not, it will just burn down to ash, and you don't want that. So make sure it's full before you leave it. So I've just put about 6 cans of water in this. I need to put more in here. However, the smoking, steaming, whatever you want to call it, has stopped. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull out the bits that I know haven't quite done. But be careful, because they still might be quite hot. So wear a pair of gloves and just use your brain to make sure. Now all these pieces that isn't quite done, you can go ahead and reuse and put in again when you do another lot. But the reason why these pieces aren't done is because they were sort of just like a sort of an extra boost fuel source at the end there. So it was like, let's go ahead and cook it a little bit further, and then as soon as that started flaming how I show you, then you have to put it out. So these pieces on top are easy enough to just take out. You know, again, be careful of the size as well. Still might be quite hot. But a good way to tell if they're done or not is just to snap them. They break extremely easily like this one, then they're fine, brilliant stuff. If not, then just take them out. So once you've got your biochar to this stage, what you want to do is, if you want to use this pretty much straight on the garden, which definitely right now you don't want to do because it will rob the nitrogen out with the soil, a bit like if you put wood chip down, but I think this will be a little bit worse because it is 100% carbon. The thing you want to do is you want to there's two options. Well, there may be more, but these are the two that I know. You can pee in this every day for the next week, and that will inoculate it with enough nitrogen to balance it out enough to be able to put it down. Or you can, there's three ways. You can add this to the compost as you go, putting a little bit more nitrogen in than this, and that should balance it out. And there's one last method, and that is to make your homemade nitrogen fertilizer, which I'm going to go show you in a minute. I made some about, I think it was either last year or the year before, so it's quite old. And I'll show you that, and you can put that in there, leave it sitting here for a week or two, and that will inoculate the biochar. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that. Let's take a look. So in here is almost like compost tea. You can go ahead and get some of this and pop it in your biochar mix. And I'm actually going to go ahead and do that because it's raining now. I was just going to pour the biochar out, but I will in a little while. And what this is grass cuttings mixed with water. So I filled this barrel with grass cuttings and then put a load of water up to the top, and then I've just left it for the last 2 years. So pop this in here. The more you put in there, the better really. But I'm only going to leave this for a couple of days, and then I'll come back to it, or a day or so, or I might even do it later. But I'm going to add this to my compost pile as I go, so it's not so bad. Just leave it, it'll be fine. And then, yeah, I'll show you the next stage very soon. So now I've got a piece of netting I can put down. And what this is going to do is act like a giant sieve. It's going to catch all that biochar that I just made and drain off the water. And this is going to allow us to take out any unburnt material. It's very heavy. There's quite a lot of char in here. Ooh, quite a lot of char in here actually. So just going to tip out all of it. Because you've starved it of oxygen, there are going to be bits and pieces that haven't burnt. So go ahead and take these out. And like I said before, these can then be used to, these can then be burnt again. It's already charred a little bit, just not enough. So to speed up this process a little bit, I'm going to go grab a sieve. And I'm just going to sieve the material, and we'll get all the bigger stuff out. Hopefully the stuff that falls through has been made into char, and I'm happy to put it on my beds. Well, I'll be adding it into my compost heap, not on my beds. And then once the compost is made, then it'll go onto my beds. So let's go ahead and get my homemade sieve, and we'll just sieve it through. Now if you don't have a big sieve like me, that's absolutely fine. You can just stand here and pick out all of the larger uncharred pieces. Isn't that just amazing? Alright, let's go get the sieve. So like I said, this is a homemade sieve. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop the material like that onto the sieve. And then I'm just going to give it a couple of them. And if it's not gone through, then it's either big pieces like this that are not been charred, so I'll take them out, or it's just big pieces that have been charred. Well, would you look at this beautiful biochar? Absolutely fantastic stuff. You know what they say, money saved is money earned, and this stuff is a pretty penny, I do believe. So by making it, you're saving money, you're helping your soil to retain moisture and retain them nutrients that you put on it, i.e. the compost that you add, the manure that you add, I would never, ever, ever, and if anyone does use chemical fertilizers, this probably isn't for you. This is more of an organic thing. I would suggest organic growing. It's much better for the soil health, much better for you. It's much better for everything, really, but it's entirely up to you. If you want to destroy your soil, then you can. But this is a way to not destroy soil, look after it, and it will look after you. But anyway, this is Biochar. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.